In this tutorial, we will continue developing this application by creating a well-designed card component with a gradient circle and an image on top of it. In the development process, we will learn how to overlay any content containers on top of each other. Besides that, we will discover how we can create a useful color extension to keep our code neat and easy to read. Alright. Without further ado, let's open Xcode and start coding. First of all, open the content view file, then please, copy the image view with its modifiers onto the clipboard as I do. After that, we need to select the Hike project on the navigator pane and create a new SwiftUI file. Now, we will give it the card view name in the pop-up window. Then we will save it in the project folder. Next, we need to replace the placeholder text view with the code from the clipboard, as I show you. Great job so far. We're going to embed this image into a new ZStack container. Please press the Command key and click on the view so a new context menu can appear where you can select this action for your convenience. Now we can place a new circle view under this image, so let's do it. Enter the following code, circle. Then add this modifier to this circle view. Fill. Indigo. This short code will add a new color to the circle, which is better than the black color, yet we still need to modify this code. Please replace the fill color with this gradient background. Fill. Linear gradient. Colors. Color. Color, indigo, medium. Comma. Color. Color, salmon, light. Start point. Top leading. End point. Bottom trailing. As you can see in the preview, this code will generate a beautiful color gradient for the circle behind the image using our custom color assets. How cool is that? Now I want to reformat this code and make it easy to read for you. Since this circle view fills out the whole screen no matter what, therefore we need to resize it. Go ahead to the end of the fill modifier and add a new modifier after it. Frame. Width. 256. Height. 256. Alright. Before we continue the development, we will do some file organization work. Go ahead to the project navigator pane, and let's create a new group folder from the selection of the card view file, as I show you. To do that, just click on this SwiftUI file and choose the appropriate option from the context menu. After that, give this folder the following name, component. From now on, we will store any reusable or standalone components in this folder. With that said, let's continue with creating a new SwiftUI file. Please name this file custom background view and save it into this component group. Now, let's create a new card background with an illusion of a 3D surface. Don't worry, the process is pretty straightforward. We will start by replacing the placeholder text view with the following code. Linear gradient. Colors. Color. Color, green, light. Comma. Color. Color, green, medium. After that, start point. Top. End point. Bottom. Now I want to reformat this code and make it easy to read for you. And finally, add this modifier to this view. Corner radius. 40. As you can see on the live preview window, this code creates a nice linear gradient that fills the whole screen. To make more glanceable the rounded corners, we can add some paddings to this view in the preview. So let's do it. Add this code to the preview. Padding. See. That's what I was talking about. Excellent job so far. Now we will finish up the layout design of the card's background. First, go ahead and embed the linear gradient into a new ZStack container, as I show you. ZStack. Great. After that, we will predefine the main layout items with some markup comments in the code. Enter the following code before the linear gradient. Mark. Colon. Dash. Number 3. Depth. Mark. Colon. Dash. Number 2. Light. Mark. Colon. Dash. Number 1. Surface. With this code, we can better understand how the views lay out in order. The layout is lined up from bottom to top. Now if we turn on the minimap in the code editor, these sections will be more reachable for us. Alright. Please, go ahead and enter this code at the top inside the ZStack. Color. Color, green, dark. Corner radius. 40. Offset. Y, 12. This code will generate the illusion of depth for the card background. And to make it even better, we can light up the edge of this card with the following code. Color. Color, green, light. Corner radius. 40. Offset. Y, 3. Opacity. 0.85. Did you notice the difference in the preview? It's much better, in my opinion. With all this code, this custom background is done. Now, before inserting this view into the card view, we should pause for a sec and think about how to optimize this code further. As you can notice in this code, we added many custom colors from the assets catalog to this background view. And you can imagine how hard it is to remember the name of each color set. Not to mention the fact that in case we misspell or skip any letter in the color name, then our code won't work at all since the code compiler will ignore it. Wouldn't it be nice if we could avoid this situation beforehand? The answer is obvious to this question. And that is exactly what we will do by creating a color extension that will not only help us avoid this bothering situation. Moreover, this new extension will give us a superpower as well. Color extension. To start off, please go ahead and let's create an empty group folder in the Project Navigator pane, as I show you. After that, give it the name, Utility. Now, we need to create a new Swift file in this folder. Then, please name this new file Color Extension and save it. Super. In this file, first of all, we need to import the SwiftUI framework, so let's do it. Import SwiftUI. With this code, we can now extend the feature of SwiftUI's color by creating a new extension. Please, enter the following code. Extension. Color. And here, inside the curly braces, we will create some static constants representing each custom color set that we added in the first lecture to this project. Go ahead, and let's add the first color to this extension. Static. Let custom green light equals to color green light. And that's the formula to create a color extension with a predefined color set from the asset catalog. Now I will fast forward typing the other colors and pause the video for a while so that you can follow along with me. Please, add all the color sets to this extension as I did. Are you done? Splendid. We can move on. Now, it's time to let me show you how powerful it is to use a color extension in SwiftUI. First of all, please go ahead and select the custom background view file in the Project Navigator pane. After that, replace the first hard-coded color value with this code. Color. Dot. Custom. Green. Dark. As you can see, I paused the video for a sec, so you can notice that Xcode will provide us with an autocomplete feature when we start typing a new color. From now on, we can forget to manually type any color name since all predefined color sets are quickly ready for us. Now, let's continue replacing the remaining colors in this file. Insert the following color. color. Dot. Custom, green, light. After that, we will replace the colors in the arrays of the linear gradient with a more simplified version. Dot. Custom, green, light. And finally, replace the last color with this code. Dot. Custom, green, medium. And guess what? By using the SwiftUI color extension, our code became more simplified, more elegant, and less error-prone. How cool is that? Final touches. Now, since all work is nearly done, let's finish up this tutorial by inserting this background view into the card component, shall we? First, go ahead and select the card view file. After that, we need to embed the Z-stack into another Z-stack container. So let's do it. Now, all we need to do is to insert the custom background view beneath the image. Enter this code. Custom background view. It's almost perfect. Since this card should not fill out the entire screen, therefore we need to constrain its width and height somehow. To make this happen, all we need to do is add a new frame modifier with some specific values, so let's do that. Please, go ahead to the end of the card view and add this modifier to it. Card. Frame. Width. 320. Height. 570. And we have just finished developing the base layout of the card component. The very last thing that we must do before we call it a day is to insert this card component into the main view. Please go ahead and select the content view file as I do. Here, in this file, we need to replace the image with the following code. Enter. Card view. After that, let's see how this component works in the simulator or on a real device. Let's build and run the Hike app. After the launch, we should see a carefully designed card. Moreover, this card has a walking boy and a circle with a beautiful linear gradient in the background. Excellent work so far. We not only created a new card component, but during its development, we also learned how to extend the functionality of the SwiftUI color. Congratulations! It's only the beginning, and we won't stop here. In the following tutorial, we will create the header design for this card and learn how to develop a custom SwiftUI button. Until then, happy coding! That this header has. Let's talk about it a little bit. While a huge bold text grabs your attention in the top part, then there is a custom-made button right beside it. At the bottom of this header, you can also notice a subheader with some text. It's pretty easy to develop such a layout design in the SwiftUI framework, so without further ado, let's launch Xcode and deep dive into coding. Header title. First of all, please open the card view file. After that, go ahead and embed the second Z-stack container into a new vertical stack container, as I show you. This V-stack container allows arranging any subviews in a vertical line to each other. Cool. Let's move on by declaring all the major sections of this card with some comments. Enter the following code inside the vertical stack container. Mark. Comma. Dash. Header. Mark. Comma. Dash. Main content. After that, scroll down a little bit and enter this code. Mark. Comma. Dash. Footer. Super. Now, we can return to the header section and start developing it. Let's start with creating a large header text. Enter this code. Text. Hiking. Font weight. Black. Font. System. Size. 52. With this code, we created a large title for the card. Now let's add some styling to it. Add this new modifier to the text view. Foreground style. Linear gradient. Colors. Custom, gray, light. Custom, gray, medium. Start point. top, endpoint, bottom. Great job so far. Now, I will reformat this code and make it easy to read for you. And that's it. We have just learned how to add gradient colors with the foreground style modifier to any text view in SwiftUI. How cool is that? Now we are going to embed this text view into a new VStack container. Please follow me. VStack. The end of the header. This vertical stack view makes the header's main container, and we will add the rest of the design elements to it. Go ahead and let's add a new text view after the first one. Text. Fun and enjoyable outdoor activity for friends and families. Now we will add some modifiers to it. Enter this code. Multiline text alignment. Leading. Italic. Foreground color. Custom, gray, medium. Awesome. Now we need to align the title to the left so that we can make space for the button. First, let's tell this VStack the desired direction of how it must align all the subviews inside it. Go ahead to the VStack and enter this new property. Alignment. Dot. Leading. As you can notice on the preview, the title was aligned to the left side of the container. How cool is that? Now we just need to improve the design somewhat by adding some inner padding to it. Let's add a new modifier to the header. Enter this code. Padding. Horizontal. 30. This code gives the header some space. Awesome. After that, please go to the header's title and embed it into a new horizontal stack container as I show you. HStack. Great. Now, it's time to add a new button to this header. Header button. Enter the following code inside the horizontal stack container and after the title view. Button. Label. Text. Button. With this short code, we've just added a new button to the header. Now let's add a new comment to the action part of it. Enter this code. New comment. Action. Show a sheet. Print. The button was pressed. This is the place where we will trigger some action when a user presses the button. For now, we will only print out a message about this action with this useful function in the console. Please go ahead and press the button in the preview. After doing that, you should see the message in the debug area, as I show you. You can activate the debug area and the console at the bottom right part of Xcode. So when we press the blue button, then a new message will be printed out in the console. Later on, in the upcoming lessons, we will further improve the functionality of this button when we discuss how presentation sheets work in iOS. But before doing that, we need to work urgently on this design. As you can see in the preview, this is a very simple button. Simply put it, the default button's color is weird, and its appearance does not match the overall app design. In the rest of this tutorial, we are going to create a custom button with a better design to make this header really eye-catchy. Are you ready for that? I hope so. Button design. First of all, we need to create a new SwiftUI file in the component folder, so let's do it. Name this file Custom Button View and save it. Cool. Now let's replace the placeholder text view with this code. ZStack. Circle. Fill. Linear gradient. Colors. White. Comma. Custom, green, light. Comma. Custom, green, medium. Start point. Top. End point. Bottom. This code creates a circle with a nice linear gradient color. Now to get a better picture of how this layout works, we need to change the preview with some specific modifiers. That's why please go to the preview and add this code to the custom bottom view. Preview layout. Size that fits. Padding. After that, we need to change the live preview to selectable at the bottom of the preview window, as I show you. As you notice, the look of the preview has changed. With this, we can focus on designing the custom button. Next, let's add a stroke to this circle. All right. Enter this code after the fill modifier. Stroke. Line width. 4. This code should add a stroke to the circle, yet it does not work at all. Moreover, it generates an error message telling us that a view could not have a stroke. This behavior differs from what we want, and the problem is in the SwiftUI framework. Unfortunately, for some strange reason, we cannot simultaneously apply the fill modifier with the stroke modifier on a SwiftUI view. It is what it is. To solve this weird problem, we need to create a new circle without the fill modifier so we can add the stroke to this layout. That being said, let's separate the stroke modifier with a new circle, as I show you. First, the new circle, then it follows the stroke modifier. So far, so good. Now let's continue developing the custom button design with this new stroke property. Enter this code. Linear gradient. Colors. Custom, gray, light. Custom, gray, medium. Start point. Top. End point. Bottom. Comma. This new modifier will add a nice linear gradient to the stroke, which is quite cool. Now, I will reformat this code and make it easy to read for you. After that, go ahead and add a new modifier to the Z-stack. Enter this code. Frame. Width. 58. Height. 58. This modifier adds some constraints to the circle's size. Finally, we can add an icon on top of these circles. Enter this code after the second circle. Image. System name. A colon. Then enter 2 double quotes. I'm pausing for a second to tell you that we won't insert an icon from the asset catalog. Instead, we are going to insert an image from the built-in symbols library. And to make it happen, we will use a not very known feature of Xcode. Please navigate to the top toolbar and click on the big plus button as I show you. This will show up the library panel on top of the editor. Here, we can see a bunch of options on the horizontal menu bar. You can see the following libraries, which are available for our immediate use. The first one is the views library, then there are the modifiers, the snippets, the media, the color, and finally, the symbols libraries. Here, our goal is to search for an icon so then we can insert its name into the double quotes. After selecting the symbol library, please click on the search bar and enter the hiking word as I show you. Now, if we click the figure hiking symbol, then Xcode will insert the symbol's name into the double quotes. How fantastic is that? Thousands of symbols are ready for use with this cool Xcode feature. After that, we just need to add some new modifiers to this system image. Go ahead and enter this code. Font weight. Black. Font. System. Size. 30. Foreground style. Linear gradient. Colors. Custom, gray, light. Custom, gray, medium. Start point. Top. End point. Bottom. And there it goes. We have just finished creating the custom button. Now it's time to insert it into the header view. Please, go back to the card view and replace the text with this new button. Enter this code. Custom button view. Great. It's almost perfect. We just need to push this button to the header's right edge. And to do this, we need to insert a spacer between the title and the button. Enter. Spacer. Here it is. We can finally test our application in the simulator or on a real device since we have just finished developing the header section of the card. How cool is that? I hope you enjoyed the process of how we incrementally progressed in developing this card component. And guess what? We won't stop here since we will continue creating a well-stylized interactive button for the footer section in the next lesson. Until then, happy coding!